Well, that was impressive.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. It's the Hate Bit Podcast, or as I should say, the Late Bit Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends of the Playhouse and otherwise, welcome to the show, all you great people. You know, I always say hi to all the great people. I don't really mention the bad people, you know, because they know who they are, but I do mention the good people. I never bring up all those people who would put their fucking children in harm's way for the sake of YouTube videos. I don't welcome those people, but you know, they know who they are, so that's all right. But the point is, welcome to the Hate Bit Podcast. We enjoy you guys making it out. We really appreciate it. I'm fucking it up already. I am your intrepid host, Yale Chaos. Over to my left, way over in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the man who probably hates you and wants you dead, Alpha Omega Sin.
I think that's a catchy tagline. Don't watch WWE Fastlane. It's a shit show. There's your review for it. The end. Also, the same, I guess, could be said for Raw, but you already knew that.
Fair enough. And over to my right in Phoenix, Arizona, the prettiest man in radio, Razor Fist.
Welcome everyone to Monday Night Raw. Fun 90s fact, folks. Raw was actually not the title of the show. It was a phonetic representation of the noise Vince McMahon made all fucking night. I'm Vince McMahon with Jerry King Law on ringside, awaiting the arrival of Big Daddy Cool Diesel. So, am I the only kid whose jaw hit the floor when Big Daddy Cool turned out to be like a 7-foot white guy? Oh no, they're off topic. They're talking about the wrestlings again.
Well, not only that, but you forgot to say God fucking speed.
It's true. God fucking speed. Sorry.
Thank you. So welcome to our program. We got a great show for you today. You know, it's right after Nintendo put out a thing. And as it turns out, they're not in stores anymore for one reason or another. But before I talk about that, I want to remind you to check us out on the social medias. Give us a sub right here on YouTube and all that other stuff, on the Twitter, on your face. If you want political commentary, check out Razor Fist on Twitter. You're not going to like it, but it's there. Also, check us out on the Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. And also, don't forget to check out the Hate Bit Podcast Network of Hate, the Facebook group right there, put together by somebody, I don't know who, but it doesn't matter. It's there, so check it out. Also, if you have questions, comments, concerns, you want to drop something in the Hate Bit ball bag, you can do so at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. Now, without further ado, Alpha Omega Sin bought a Nintendo Switch, and how'd that turn out, Alpha?
Well, to begin with, one, I didn't have to kill anybody to get it, and I didn't have to pay double or triple the price of it, which I will continuously say, just be patient and wait. There will be more. Don't give them like the people that complain the most about it are also the same ones who are giving a reseller money. And I can't even blame the reseller if they know that they can go and take like $300 and turn it into $700. Why the fuck not? That's pretty easy. But yeah, I got me a Nintendo Switch. My household has not one but two, and that's because so I got the regular one, which I got that shit sitting right here. And that's all hooked up in the living room. My friend Alex, who's my roommate, he's also got one. He's got the red and blue one, the fancy one, that looks much more colorful. So that's why I had to go with the plain as fuck one.
Basic black.
Yeah, just wanted a basic one. But yeah, got that. Got some Amiibos, got Legend of Zelda, and got Bomberman R.
Nice.
So, we got
the packaging for a fucking cartridge the size of Dust Mite's thumbnail.
So how about this shit? I was kind of bummed out about this because there's definitely room for it. It's just kind of confusing. Look right there. See, you got little tabs right there where you could clearly put a manual. That'd be nice, right? No, we don't got that. We got some interior art. That's a thing. But these games are fucking tiny. I think PlayStation Vita, for all four of you out there who have a Vita, that's about the size of the carts. They're fucking
including a few employees of Sony.
Yeah. Don't give them that much credit. You already know that they don't bother with the fucking thing. Yeah.
But Alpha, they don't print manuals anymore because eco-friendly is what. It's totally
Yes,
not.
while you're doing quotation marks, I'm gonna do this the entire time because, frankly, if we're willing to go and waste this much plastic, I'd rather waste some fucking paper. So that's definitely a thing. At least one's biodegradable. The other one is, well, fuck it. But yeah, got both of them. The amiibos, you gotta love the fact that Nintendo knows for a fact that motherfuckers will cough up extra money for Legend of Zelda amiibos, so they're priced at more. But if you get them on Amazon, or if you get them at Best Buy's Gamers Club Unlocked, you can get them for like $12 a piece versus 16. But these unlock content inside of Legend of Zelda made me a bit more interested in it. And yeah, I have not played the system online though. Everything's been offline. Surprise, surprise. We've got so much Nintendo Switch stuff to talk about. So, and I got Pro controllers, but my camera's actually sitting on the Pro controller boxes. I'm not even kidding.
Don't you tell me they're not useful for something.
Yeah. So right now, I know Ms. Yo Chaos has one. I have one. Mr. Fister was just like, I actually value my wallet and my bank account, and I could give a fat fucking fart less.
No, it's not. No, look, I'm actually excited for the Nintendo Switch, but you can't find the fucking things. I wasn't about to wait in line at a midnight release. I've never done that in life for a fucking console, and I'm more of a PC gamer anyway. But I'm looking forward to playing Breath of the Wild and shit like that. I would like to own a Nintendo Switch. Plus the promise of backwards compatibility for a lot of the games I missed on Wii U.
I was gonna say, do you have a Wii U?
I have access to one, but I don't technically own it.
Then
It's the same thing.
Just get Legend of Zelda on there. I mean, you right now again, you could still pick it up if you're doing the whole Prime or Best Buy bullshit. Get 20% off of that, so you're paying like $47.99 for it. And that's going to be the version I think everybody overlooks. And down the road, that's going to be the one that's more collectible, kind of like with Twilight Princess. A little bit like an infomercial.
I feel like you should be Australian, wearing a bad sweater, and have really shitty teeth right now.
What's fucked up
is come get the Nintendo Switch.
Dude, I was before we started this, I was like, man, talking about this shit, I feel like I'm going back to when I worked in a video game store, and I'm like, all right, I have to go and sell you some shit. So mommy and daddy has their fucking checkbook out. So let's go talk about some stuff. But it's, to me, it makes a lot more sense to go get the Wii U version, because apparently that one's a bit more stable because that's what was developed on. People were there's a lot of talk right now. Keep in mind, I've never played the Wii U version, so all of my experience.
Okay, I want to say that I ordered the Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, and since the Nintendo Switch broke fucking Amazon, I don't know if you heard about this. All right. Amazon promised to have a whole bunch of Nintendo Switches to a whole bunch of people, and just plain fucking didn't. And I understand that they have not even rectified all of that yet. So the Nintendo Switch, say what you want about it, broke Amazon. So there's something. But I decided to get it on the Wii U, and it hasn't got to me yet because of this shipping snafu.
Oh yeah.
And I told some people who I was working with, because they were going to get the Switch, and I'm like, you go fucking get it. And they said, why are you getting it on the Wii U? I says, because the Wii U is done. They finished that system, and now it's been released. The Switch, would you argue with me, Alpha Omega Sin, is not quite done.
Okay, so there's so much about that. God, where the fuck to begin?
You look like you're in that stage right before you throw up. Like, do I really want to throw up?
I mean, okay, so first things first, I guess we can talk about the build quality of the system. To begin with, my favorite thing has been the Pro Controller. If you were playing this shit at home a lot, like me, and you don't plan on taking this on the go because it looks like it might explode in your hands, no Allah Akbar, like prior to it, it just disintegrates in your fucking hands. I wanted to just keep it stationary at the fucking house. I also don't want my child going anywhere near the system because I think it'll explode. So I'm like, here's a Pro Controller. don't touch anything else. I don't want my nephews touching it at all. I'm like, don't, it'll explode. The Pro Controller is pretty much the way to go on that. That thing's built real fucking nice. The downside, that shit's $70. And I can't see the justification for the additional $10 comparatively to PS4 and Xbone controllers. I'm just not seeing it. There's no additional doodads or features or anything. Solid controller, feels fucking great, is absolutely awesome, and one of the better Nintendo controllers. Don't see why it's so expensive, though.
Well, yeah, and I've heard there might be some quality control issues. Of course, I've heard a lot of stories about quality control issues all around, but one of the big things on the Pro Controller is that apparently, like, the right thumbstick has a deal where it kind of goes jank after a while, and people are already having issues with the fucking thumbsticks for some reason.
Most of the control issues that I've been hearing about, I mean, the vast majority, have been coming with the Joy-Con controllers. Now, again, this is one of those easy things that we can go and say, well, you shouldn't have bought that shit when it first came out and let them work out all the kinks, because we're all guinea pigs. And here's the thing. I don't really give a shit at all, because most of my systems have failed on me down the road at some point or another. I just don't give a shit. I like the idea of actually trying something when it first comes out, because I could never afford myself that opportunity when I was young. So now as an adult, I work fucking hard. And when you're working full fucking time, yeah, this is one of the things you want to give yourself. But the Joy-Con controllers, they're having issues where they're not syncing up and some other shit. I'm just like, well, that sucks. I personally don't know, because I've used them once.
Yeah, I've heard there might be an issue where... Is it the right Joy-Con controller where if your hand is completely cupping it, it loses the signal? Kind of a thing? Like a basic kind of stuff like that. This is the most common fault that I've actually heard thus far.
Oh, wait, are these people Magneto?
Well, hon, are you talking? There is the little IR sensor thing that's on the front of it.
Yeah.
That's what I think that one might be, and that would be easy as fuck to do, because that is literally the entire front of it. And the way you figure the Joy-Con controllers are like that big, that's all. So going and holding that, it'd be easy to go and fuck up. Again, I don't have 1-2 switch, mainly because I respect myself and I didn't want to waste my fucking money. And
you don't have any friends.
Well, I do, but my friends could give a fuck less, because I was like, hey guys, want to come down and play Nintendo Switch? And they were like, no. It's like,
I'm not 5.
Well, let's see.
Hey, if you would have promised weed and processed snack cakes, they would have made it, I promise.
To be honest, if I did say, well, I do got a lot of herb, all of a sudden... Oh, wait, no. Actually, my friends don't knock. They come in because I tell them, why did you knock? Just walk in. But
you're friends with Kramer?
Well, they don't come in that fast. If they do, they'd end up going face first into that fucking kiosk now and knocking themselves out, and then I'd feel bad. And then they'd have some kind of comedy routine later on that ends up getting them into a lot of hot water, and I don't want to deal with any of that shit, because they're my friends and I love them. So... The Pro Controller, the way to go. Still costs too fucking much, but for somebody like me that's going to be playing it all the time at home, it seemed to be the way to go with it. The thing is, the system, when you're holding it, dude, that right Joy-Con, when it's actually attached to the Switch, is fucking uncomfortable. The buttons and the analog stick, they're completely vertical from one another, whereas, as we know with all controllers, it's diagonal. So when you have them catty-corner from one another, your thumb moves in this motion naturally. Your thumb doesn't do this naturally, and it fucking hurts. So you got to rearrange your fucking hand like you're all fucking retarded and shit, so that you can do it in a comfortable fashion, and your hand ends up cramping. I don't know if I had tiny little Japanese man hands, maybe that would be a thing, but no, that's not the case.
It's done. You can't judge these controllers on size alone, Alpha. This is why porn stars all need Viagra and have broken dicks.
Dude, but when you look at what was it? Chaos, what did you say that the Switch looked like to you? Because how long it was?
Huh? Oh, the Atari Lynx.
Yeah, the OG Atari Lynx.
Yeah.
And that shit was like this long. It was just like, oh, well.
It was also a snowboard.
Yeah, it was like way too fucking long. Like it's weird because it's being sold as a portable system, but it's not. This can't fit in a pocket. Like, maybe if
you're wearing Jinkos.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jinkos did make a comeback. So maybe if everybody goes out there and gets Nintendo branded Jinko jeans and they have like an actual Nintendo Switch controller and they have like the Sheikah's symbol somewhere like embroidered onto it.
Or we could continue with the Seinfeld analog and you could have a European carry-all. Yes.
Yeah, just like all those people thought they could take the Wii U with them in their gigantic fucking sack.
It's not a Nintendo, it's European.
There's gonna be people who are like,
Amstrad.
Just get the carry cases for them, and it's fine having a carry case for it. You're pretty much getting that as insurance for the system because that screen is begging to be destroyed. As a matter of fact, I saw on eBay somebody bought one, and then they took a bunch of fucking power tools and they cut out the Triforce dead through the fucking system, and then we're selling it on eBay. I'm like, people are so mad, and I'm sitting there clapping. I'm like, this is great. Why did you waste the money? I have no clue. You got a bunch of reactions, but not $300 worth of reactions. But so far, I personally don't like holding just the system by itself. I think that it feels awkward and weird. I haven't actually fucked with the Joy-Con controllers by themselves. The left one doesn't feel that bad, but the right one, again, it's super awkward. And I get why, because they're like, oh, well, when you use the controllers, like this, and you're playing multiplayer games, you need it to be that way. Well, a lot of us are not using them that way and aren't going to. So it's just, I don't know, a waste. Like, I'm mainly playing Legend of Zelda. I played a little bit of Bomberman R, and it'd be great for this. I've yet to play this in multiplayer. I know that I could go online and play it, but...
The Joy-Cons to me really much strike as... Oh, I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
I was just saying, online's free until fall.
So. Yeah, for now. The Joy-Cons to me really... They very reminiscent of the Zapper. They're essentially a built-in Zapper. They're used for very little... And I think they're just going to end up being part of the Nintendo Switch controller, I think.
I personally I find it to be, like, the only thing that I think would be cool about it is if I get a bunch of arcade on-rail shooter ports. I'm a big fan of the genre. Like, if you give me Time Crisis, Virtua Cop, House of the Dead, you give me boatloads of that shit and toss them onto there, I'll be happier than pig and shit. But more than likely, I won't be. I'll get shuffleware mini games where it crudely ends up utilizing like the use of that. Like, they've got the HD Rumble. I personally don't see the use of HD Rumble. I think it's a fucking wasted feature that they put too much money into, and I'd rather have a lot of other features on the system that they could have just swapped out, I guess, for financial
reasons. You've got real life graphics. You can look at another person without staring at a screen, and
yeah, and then I can do that. It'll be really
it's
great.
It's like House of the Dead, only it's not at all, and they didn't spend any money on it.
Well, not only that, you remember all the people throwing Wii motes through TVs? Now people are going to be throwing Joy-Cons through their friends. The news is going to be great for the next few months.
Oh, yes.
People are going to begin bricked with those over and over again. It's, I don't know. It's, and from what I'm hearing, a bunch of people that have had their hands on 1-2 Switch were just not only not impressed, but they're like, what the fuck did I just play? And I'm like, well, you played the vast majority of the games on Nintendo Wii, which made it infamous for shovelware, except for they're charging you like what, $50, $40?
$50 fucking dollars.
Okay, for $10 more, you can have Legend of Zelda. So let's think about that for a moment. And I know that's just like, yeah, but you just keep mentioning it because it's only worthwhile.
You don't get to milk any cows in the Breath of the Wild.
You can't, but you can take a bow and arrow and shoot like boars and all sorts of other shit that's running around.
You don't milk cows? Don't you have jars of milk in Ocarina of Time and other games? What the fuck? Where's my cow milking? God damn it! I have a fetish to fulfill, you fucks.
Nintendo dropped the ball. If we're not getting jars of milk in this game,
they dropped the udder.
But they, like, I will say one thing that I was kind of shocked by was the Nintendo Switch screen looks great. Like, looks really fucking good. That shit is crisp and nice. I was like, damn, not bad at all. Granted, I still would have opted for a proper resolution 1080p screen, or even opted for a 4K screen, because they could do that if they wanted. But still, can't complain because everything on it looked really good. I was just like, that's awesome. I can say one thing that was kind of confusing. Who in the fuck was responsible for the kickstand on the system?
Oh my god. I knew that was going to be a problem the minute I saw the reveal. Looking at that janky ass, lopsided fucking, it only props up on one side fucking kick. What the fuck?
I'm so tempted to go get it because it's sitting in there. But the kickstand for it, okay? When you take out the kickstand, I swear to you, I'm not exaggerating, and for anybody out there that has one, you can probably back up this claim. When you just open it, it feels like it is about to fucking snap off. It's wiggling, and it is paper fucking thin. And I was like, wait. So we have kickstands for phones that are more sturdy. We have kickstands for things like the Surface and for iPads and shit, way more sturdy. And then you had this thing in there. This kickstand would possibly cave under pressure from a fucking paper cup if it was trying to hold that up. And you have this holding up something that's expensive. And you have the power button and the volume up and down buttons on the opposite side of it. So if you go to press them, it's just teetering over like that.
Oh, but didn't you see in the commercial? He propped it up on a plane. I'm sure that's fucking practical, right?
Granted, okay, there's third-party solutions for actual kickstands that will actually prop the fucking thing up, and that's fine. But this is something that's built into it, and we're not talking about some untested new fucking road to go and blaze a path down. This is something that's been tested and proven through tons of other very similar products. And they had this one. I'm like, I personally don't get it. And it could seem like, oh, you're making a big deal out of nothing. This is a system that's being sold as being a stationary console that can go on anywhere, and it's portable. Well, the portability aspect of it, this is included with that, and they dropped the fucking ball hard. Very, very fucking hard. It felt like shit. I don't even like opening it because I swear to fucking God it's going to snap off. I'm waiting for it. I don't handle my electronics like I'm a fucking caveman or some shit. I'm just like, ooh. I opened it carefully. It still moved around back and forth, and like it was just gonna pop right off. I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'll fucking. We still get phone books, so I'll just like prop it against the phone book.
That's an interesting approach, considering. Now, I want everyone to take this into consideration. Imagine you're old, right? There's a company out there. They're called Harley Davidson, and they make products for old people because that's the only people who have that kind of money to throw around. Let's be fucking realistic here. But when you buy a Harley Davidson, a supposedly well-made piece of equipment that's going to entertain you, and I know. Just let me get there. He's shaking his fucking head. And when you buy this very expensive piece of equipment, they put a kickstand on it. The one thing that's going to hold up this very expensive piece of equipment. And I'll bet you right now, you're getting a pretty goddamn expensive kickstand because it's holding up this very expensive piece of equipment. Then this company from Japan tries to sell you something that's supposedly very high performance equipment, and you could put a stand over here. That's the selling point, is that you could take it anywhere and stand it over there. And they sold you tissue paper.
It's horrifying, dude. I'm not kidding. It is horrifying to even go near, and I'm like, I just, nah, I'm good.
I will say, if anything, this is kind of, I feel like, and I don't want to, you know, toot my own horn too much, but I think I'm going to, is that a few episodes back I said that I do not see this system as a genuine replacement as a portable system to the Nintendo 3DS. This is not going to convince the Nintendo 3DS audience, which is a big group of people. People forget that. They think about your goddamn smartphone gaming, which, again, that's a different audience. But there's a lot of people. And then there's also the Vita people who just... I fucking love those people. I like to call them gaming necromancers. Fucking Sony shot that shit through the neck and let it bleed out, and these people did a dance in the moonlight and it came back. But anyway, but anyway, the 3DS, that's a lot of people, and I don't see. And this is supposed to be, you know, it's supposed to look like that successor. I don't see that. I really don't.
Not with that fucking kickstand. Of course, you also have to keep in mind this is Japan, the country that, you know, they look down the utensil ladder and they're like, well, let's see. I could eat my rice with a fork or a spoon or fuck. Give me those two sticks. I got this. I got this, motherfucker. So they don't need the most sturdy apparatus.
I just think that the whole, like, it's weird because for me, it's just not a portable system because I'm too freaked out at holding it. And it feels fragile. I'm not going to lie. And it only feels fragile because of the Joy-Cons. I actually think that the system itself, it's very, like, the screen portion of it is very fucking solid. Like, that should, not that I'm saying that I won't be able to break it. I could break anything. But when you have those Joy-Cons on there, it becomes way too big and you're worried about it the entire fucking time. So that becomes an issue. You know, there's going to be ways to alleviate that through third-party offerings of, like, okay, you can get, like, OtterBox is going to make a fucking case for the Nintendo Switch that makes it like a big goddamn Sherman tank and shit, and you're holding it like this, and you're like, fuck yeah, portability. It's like getting like a 1950s typewriter, and you're just like, yeah, texting. But
it's about as portable as a Sea-Doo. You can do it, but that doesn't make it, you know, a preferred choice.
Like, it as a stationary console, I think that it's quite nice. Looks real fucking good on my screen. I was hearing conflicting issues about that because there's people saying that whenever you transition from the screen, which again looks good, to the TV, that it looks bad. I didn't come across anything like that. I looked at it, it was just like, you're just a bigger version of this fucking screen. And I mean, I've played a whopping 2 games on it, but both of them looked very nice, very crisp, very clear. They're running in high definition. Granted, I will say this, the Nintendo Switch, the Switch version of Legend of Zelda, I don't know if it's just me, but I've come across some frame rate issues quite a few times.
Quite a few, and how many?
Every single time I've played it, it's
that's quite a few. God damn! All right,
but keep in mind that it was strange because it would happen in some areas. Like, you'd go into an area, it would happen, then it would just stop. Like, it was happening for a good bit, and this shit was dropping like below 30 frames per second.
Oh, gross!
So it's all happening, then all of a sudden it just stops. And then as I'm running around, it doesn't happen anymore. So I don't know if it was just trying to load shit at the same time and it was like struggling. But regardless, that was one of the only issues that I've had with Legend of Zelda, where I was like, okay, I'm going to bring up this one thing. Other than that, I've had more fun with this one than I've had with any Legend of Zelda game since I don't know, Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoyed that one. I still do today.
Yeah, same here. Great fucking game, man.
It's something to say about the Nintendo Switch nobody talks about. The user interface is fucking great. The actual menu for the system, that shit is quick, snappy, very nice.
Which is nice, that's one of my biggest gripes with the Xbox One and the PS4 is they both have the shittiest fucking UI. Xbox used to have a tolerable UI, but somewhere along the way they're like, let's jank the fuck out of this shit. Let's make this.
Let's bring Windows 8 to the whole world.
Basically. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but that's great to hear. Like, describe it for me, because I'm the only person in this podcast who hasn't gotten my hands on one yet.
Okay, so one, I agree with the Xbox One interface. I've always considered just confusing, because I'm like, why is it a mess? It's an actual mess. It's just mess. And that's whenever I'm looking at a UI is kind of hard to create just because we already take so many things for granted out there. Like we have Android, we have Mac, we have Windows. That's the UIs that we're used to and shit. This one is simple. A lot of your menu-based shit, like if you want to go into your system settings, if you want to go and see your friends, all that shit is a couple clean-looking icons at the bottom. The top portion of the screen is your games. So whatever games that you have, that's it. There's nothing else to it. And that's all that I want. I want to be able to find my stuff quickly and easily. And it manages that. Like, the PS4's interface is more tolerable than Xbox One's, but is still kind of clunky once you start getting too much shit on there. So you're scrolling through a whole bunch of stuff, and granted, now they've created folders, so it helps remedy that marginally, but it still looks kind of shit.
Well, and it's a pain. What I hate about the PS4 interface is they randomly hide shit. They're just like, oh, you're not using this anymore. We'll just put this away for you. It's like, what the motherfucker? What the fuck?
If I wanted that shit, I'd have a wife.
With PS4, to find certain things, you have to jump into one thing to go into another to then finally get to it, rather than it just being there. And like that's fucking stupid. With this, it's very clean, and I'm sure that it'll end up looking a bit crazier once a lot more games come out, because the system's fresh, and those like the little thumbnails for the individual titles that you're going to play, those will be there. And I mean, it looks similar to what PS4 should be. That's probably the best way I can describe it. If Sony like took their head out of their ass after a botched tuck and roll incident, then they'd be able to go and have some shit like this. So that looks nice. I don't know anything about it, the online portion of it. Like, I've gone to the Nintendo Switch store, I guess we can go and call it, and I've checked that out, and that was it. I went on there only because I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure Blaster Master's out. It's not out yet. Unless you're important in the YouTube world or in the gaming world, then they send you copies early. I'm not. So, but that game looks fun as fuck. But Blaster Master looks badass as fuck. So
it does, doesn't it?
Need to stop saying fuck.
Never. Fuck that.
And overnight, half of Alpha's vocabulary disappeared.
Oh yeah, no, it's. I replace and, if, the, or, so with fuck. And it's worked splendidly. I'm still capable of, like, well, I have an expansive vocabulary. It's just in between all the different words I decide to rip out my repertoire is the word fuck, just jammed in between.
And, and if we remove the word cunt, then you just have to communicate with a series of blinks.
No, I can still I got sound language. I can bust out something,
Yeah.
or I can get flashcards, so that'll be a thing. That'll be great. But the actual games for it, I've only played 2, Legend of Zelda and Bomberman R. Yell Chaos, how's your experience been so far?
I only got to play with it very briefly, because I didn't get it myself. I couldn't. You know, that's what I did want to talk about on the program, is that you on Friday, on Switch Day, everyone had a merry Switchmas, I understand, until they got the fucker home. But you were like the 5th person to text message me and said, "Hey man, you having a great time with the Switch?" And I said, "No, motherfucker, I'm at work." All of you guys, you know, and like my buddy Return to Mother Base, shameless pug. He was one of those people who was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, I'm fucking doing adult shit while you assholes are sitting on your ass on your couch playing games. But I got to play with it very briefly, and I didn't get to mess with any of the features, but I did get to hear complaints. And the complaint was that it's just games. And I said, because let's be fair now. The Nintendo eShop is apparently not really up and rolling. There's, I guess, a few pieces of software on there. And I understand that there's no web browser. And these were chief complaints of a game system that all it did was play games.
I thought that the web browser issue was hilarious, because I just want to remind them, you do not need to look up porn on your Nintendo Switch. Let's be honest, it's the only reason that you're using it. And eventually it's just going to corrupt your system beyond all the fucking shit that's stuck to the controller now, thanks to the fact that you have it so close in proximity of your mess that you're making. But let's be honest, whoever's using a fucking web browser as their primary means of surfing the internet with their console, fucking stop, please.
No shit. You do not need to go to princesspeachfuzz.com. That fucking bad, motherfucker. All right, just fucking get over it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And considering this thing is going to depend so much on your phone, why not look at the browser on your phone?
Yeah.
When everybody has a web browser in their pocket of all the fucking things to complain about, especially after the last several years in gaming. You're going to complain that we finally got a console that's just about games? Really? Really, motherfucker? Are you fucking kidding me? When every single year we devote a third of every single console presentation to, hey guys, guess what new Netflix and fucking Hulu feature we have this year? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 15 minutes on how you're watching TV wrong.
All the motherfuckers who were talking shit about it being just games were the same stupid fucking shitheads that were complaining that the Xbox One was about everything but games.
Well, not only, and probably the same people that fucking complained that the 3DS had a web browser. Like, why are you wasting time? You know, they're typing on their keyboards. Why are you wasting time developing a web browser? No one looks at a web browser on a console.
I mean, it's pretty much anything to complain. Look, first and foremost, I want my systems to be able to play games, and I want them to play a lot of games, because that's why I buy them. I mean, fuck, if anybody out there is complaining about shit like that, and they're just like, well, I needed to have a web browser because I don't have a smartphone. If you had enough money to go and buy a Nintendo Switch, the games, the accessories, and all the other fucking bullshit with it, and you didn't have enough money to invest in a fucking smartphone, just fucking kill yourself. I'm not going to be nice about it. Literally kill yourself.
Go stab yourself in the throat. Go get your Obama phone. God damn it. Jesus fucking Christ, people.
All phones are Obama phones.
Well, he's listening to all of them, so. No.
But think about it. It's one of those things, like, I don't give a fuck about it. The few non-gaming features that I give a shit about is I want to be able to access an online eShop so I can get games digitally, which just has to do with getting more games. And I do like to use my Xboxes and my PlayStations to go and stream shit, because I already have it hooked up. So it's kind of nice. And not everybody has a smart TV. So that's one of those things. It's just convenient. Granted, if you walk into my living room, there's too many options. I have a smart TV and a PS4 and an Xbone and an NVIDIA Shield. So, and then on top of that, I can stream through Chromecast, which is hooked up into the TV itself. So too many fucking options. I don't need it for my Nintendo Switch. I need games. Definitely need games. Good golly, do I need some fucking games. And by the way, these are actually selling again. there's actual demand for these again. I'm fucking shocked, I'll be honest, because we haven't seen an insane amount of demand for these since they first came out and everybody was scalping them. Then Nintendo started making a lot of them, so then the demand went away and only the fans were buying them again.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of that has to do with, and here's to answer your original query, the one at the opening of the show, where you asked why the fuck the consoles cost so much. It's because every goddamn why the controllers cost so much. Because they put a fucking amiibo scanner into every goddamn every single one. Every model of controller for the fucking Nintendo Switch is an amiibo scanner and a fucking shiatsu massage built in. It's got goddamn everything on this fucking thing. And so it costs like $2.8 million to fucking manufacture the things, and they're selling them for $70.
I'm just glad that Hori eventually is making an accessory that I can go and heat up my panini on there while I'm playing Nintendo Switch. That's important to me. I know that we were just discussing non-gaming features aren't that important, but I mean, think about it. I'm an on-the-go guy, and I'm always busy. How can I go and heat up my panini and go through a bunch of shrines in The Legend of Zelda at the same time?
I'm still waiting on my Mad Catz Easy Bake Oven.
Oh God! If it's by Mad Catz, that thing's gonna be fucked up. So you don't want that. What you're asking for is, Mad Catz, can you go and create a fire hazard for me? I don't have insurance and stop caring.
And can you also help me get a stomach virus from undercooked food?
Yeah. So I guess another thing to bring up is Nintendo. I have so many fucking jokes I can make at the expense of this, and it's so Nintendo made these cartridges really tiny, but they didn't want kids to swallow them, which I don't care if they swallow them. That means that the parents weren't doing their fucking jobs. Oh well. They put a fluid on these to make the carts taste bad, so that the children would want to spit them out. Now, adults, pretty much the only people who have these systems are like, wait a minute, these taste really bad? Oh, I want to put a bunch of Nintendo Switch cartridges in my mouth, and I want to start licking them. Now, children emulate everything that adults do, so there you go. We were brought up being told, your Nintendo cartridges, do not blow in them. It's actually bad for them. So we kept on blowing in them. And then they were like, with your Nintendo Wii remote, don't hit people with them. So we kept hitting a lot of people with them. Now they're like, please don't lick and swallow these. And now we're doing that. it just, metaphors aside, fuck.
I'd rather that just stop a kid for Jesus Christ. They've been making Chef Boyardee taste bad for 50 fucking years. That doesn't stop kids from wanting fucking SpaghettiOs. Jesus Christ.
Look, every time that you were getting ravioli with beef inside of it, or if you decided you were like, you know what? I'm feeling extra dangerous today. I'm going to go and get that fucking chicken penne. Let's quote as hard as we fucking can. You know, welcome to Monday Night Quote. See, that's when you're going really dangerous. I had to channel Razor Fist Vince McMahon because it actually feels good to do that. Now I think I understand why Vince McMahon does that. When he's doing that, it looks like he's trying to get rid of like a bunch of bees that are flying around him. He's just doing this shit. I'm like, whoa, what's going on?
Well, what you also don't know is when Razor Fist is doing that, he's actually doing Rob Bartlett.
That's right.
Dude, but they made the... I find it fucking hilarious that Nintendo's like, don't do this. We are telling you this is bad. Inexplicably, we are fucking telling you don't do this. Anytime that you tell people not to do something and you go out of your way to do that, they're going to. So it's currently the 6th of March. And I want you all to understand at some point there is going to be news reports of not one, but multiple people choking on these cartridges. And there is going to be a lawsuit. Mark my fucking words. When it happens, come back to this podcast and you can go, Alpha was right. because I usually am right about fucking everything, but still this.
And right under that, you can type Hitler did nothing wrong. Like usual. Don't worry about it.
Look, it's bound to happen, but it's just funny that Nintendo, they're always trying to do the right thing, but they're trying to do the right thing with the wrong people because people are wrong. So,
well, they're trying to do the right thing with people. The people is the problem.
No, the problem is they never should have told anyone. They never should have told a damn person, and then kids would have chewed on them and then spit them out normally like they intended. But no, they had to go virtue signal. Hey, gamers, look what we did to protect the children you're not having because it's 2017 and no one has kids anymore. Look what we did. And then everyone's like, oh, really now? Hey, look, a subject matter for my 9 billionth unwatched fucking YouTube video. Fantastic.
I cannot wait, and I'm sure that there's a million of them, but I haven't bothered looking them up because I don't fucking care. But how many videos out there are, my friend's trying is licking Nintendo Switch cartridges, oh my god. And keep in mind, you better make sure that there's a thumbnail of them real close up going, eh. And now let's outline that Photoshop picture. Let's blur out the back and put big, bold, white fucking letters right there, because if you don't do it, you're not doing YouTube right, because everybody needs to suck a big fat fucking cock. Anyway, oh, don't worry, Nintendo will put some kind of solution on the cock to make you want to go and spit it out, or you can just you can pretend that you're some kind of fucking modern day feminist and they'll just fucking
it'll be the 80s all over again.
Only Nintendo would preoccupy themselves with the taste of plastic, because plastic tastes bad already.
I can't wait for.
Why do you think no one eats at Olive Garden? Plastic tastes bad, folks.
Look,
sorry, I shouldn't slander the bologna Alfredo. Anyway,
you're just fucking up this sponsorship thing left and right, man.
Look, the thing that about all of it is. Micro SD cards have been around for a long fucking time. Regular SD cards have been around for a long time. Nintendo DS cards have been around for a long fucking time. 3DS cards have been around for a long time. PlayStation Vita cards somehow are still in circulation and will be for a long time. Again, we don't know. But if Diablo 3 can get a fucking Necromancer, apparently Sony can. So this is redundant. Nobody's bothered to do shit like this because there's no reason to, and this goes people into wanting to try it. And it's fucking weird. Yeah. Oh, by the way, did not know Bomberman's 33rd anniversary. It's kind of weird to think that it's that fucking old. I didn't even know that. Had no idea.
What a strange milestone to commemorate.
You want to know why they're commemorating?
Because no one would give a fuck otherwise. That's why.
Nintendo wasn't launching a new console on the 30th anniversary.
Look, they haven't bothered to release a game for its 30th anniversary or for its 25th anniversary. So they were just like, I don't know. Let's put it. Fuck it. Yeah, there you go. And that was the entire conversation that they had.
I guess Bomberman marked their age like the same way brand new parents do with their kids. Oh, he's 15 months. Oh, he's 17 months.
That shit. I love the bitches that are they're actually holding the hand of a walking child, and they're just like, yeah, he's now 33 months. And I'm like, stop.
Hey, hold on. If you knew what that lady went through with that shit-spewing demon on the other side, or probably right next to her bedroom, that bitch knows to the day how long she's been putting up with this shit.
I mean, you don't have to bring up her relationship at all. That has nothing to do with the child. That's just rude.
Fair enough. I apologize.
Okay, real quick, Bomberman, fun fucking game. Lacking. Really lacking. Lacking like a motherfucker. It's just Bomberman. That's really about it. It goes up to 8 players. The Saturn version did 10. We now live in a day and age where 55-inch televisions are normal. And you were fucking lucky to see a 36-inch Sony Wega tube television because you knew you were at one of your friends' houses who were well off to do if you saw one of those, and you felt bad for the suckers that had a projection television because everything looked like shit. All projection televisions look like when you hold a lit cigarette to white fabric for a while. That's a projection television all the fucking time back in the 90s. Not nowadays. But Bomberman is just, it's basic Bomberman. For me, that's exciting, but there's no meat and potatoes on that. There's not enough.
I know why. I know why. Here in 2017, as was in 2007 and 1997 and 1987, was that Konami does not equal Hudson, period.
Well, there's also the small matter of Konami just plain not giving a shit.
That's what I was leading up to, actually.
It's... Yeah. I can't even say that it's not like it's a bad game. Visually, it looks nice. It controls well. It's kind of hard to fuck up the control in a Bomberman game. Even the shitty one on 360 still controlled well and was a competent game. It was just a fucking weird one. But this, the storyline in it is, if you like, the Super Mario Super Show or the Sonic cartoons and shit, you'll like the storyline in this because they're very fucking similar. There's little animated cartoon shit, but I wanted like a big adventure mode, like the Bomberman games on Nintendo 64, and then I wanted this on top of that. And sure, there's shit to unlock, and there's online multiplayer, which is nice, and that's kind of just a given. But for $40 retail, I wanted a bit more. If this game does well, and they decide that it's still a viable franchise and they continue with it, I'm hoping that they look back and they go, yeah, we ought to bring all this shit forward into a much better package. That'd be great. But if you plan on just getting it as a party game, it's worth it for that. So that'll be a thing. Drunken Bomberman. Bomberman is a great drinking game. Just trust me. Great fucking drinking game. I haven't gotten... Mr. Chaos, did you get to play anything other than Zelda?
No, I didn't. I wanted to play that Snipper Clippers game because that looks fucking weird, and it's like an undescribable game. It's a form of a puzzle game. It's like a cooperative puzzle game and sort of thing. I wanted to, didn't get a chance.
I heard nothing but good things about that game, despite its name being fucking stupid.
I don't know if it's any worse than ARMS.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, what about Laffy Taffy Punch-Out?
That one's not out yet.
I forgot all. Jesus fucking Christ! It's like waking up and looking beside you after a night of drinking, and you're just like, oh, that ARMS, that fucking name. They're like, get it, because the arms, they go.
You punch with the arms, because we wouldn't call it legs because that's what you kick with.
I'm just going to continue to call it. I wish I was playing Punch-Out. Legend of Zelda is pretty much the reason why most people are getting this thing, and the motherfucker is selling just like that, and rightfully so. The Legend of Zelda, it's so fucking good. I don't even know how to. Hold on, what? You're showing off your nails?
I was.
They're very nice, very nice. I like that.
The Vince Neil tickling the balls move that he does in the
if
live
anybody was
video.
good at tickling balls, Vince Neil was the man to call.
Indeed.
Legend of Zelda is an open world game now, a completely open world game that's non-linear, and you can. This is more like an RPG than even Legend of Zelda 2. This is like a true Dungeons and Dragons style role-playing game adventure where you are just left to go and do what you want, how you want. There's multiple ways for you to go and solve shit. There's multiple ways for you to go and dispatch things. If you see something off on the horizon, you can go to it. I like that. Lots of shit matters. You have to cook your own food. Each thing that you can make elixirs. You can make tons of different meals. Each one is going to have its own types of benefits. You can go and climb. You can go and descend. Like, there was tons of times I was climbing up something, turned the camera just so I could look off in the distance, and everything looked like an epic painting. Visually, while this game isn't going to bolster the hyper-realistic graphics that many games are always pushing for, its art design and its aesthetic is leaps and bounds better, and will manage to be able to look nicer infinitely because the way that they decide to go with it. There's voice acting in the game. Fucking voice acting.
How is it, by the way?
It's good.
What do you mean? There was plenty of voice acting in Ocarina of Time. There was. Don't you remember?
My personal favorite, which was.
And I'm glad that we currently have all the sound clips from various Japanese game shows and shit going that they use for the Legend of Zelda games. This one, only a couple characters have had spoken dialogue so far because I haven't been going through the main story. I've been going off and just doing other shit. Again, that's what I love about this. And it's been solid. It's just been really fucking good. And it's weird because it throws you off at first because you're like, holy fuck. And then it seems like it's always been there because of how seamless and how well they did it. And I'm like, good fucking job. It has a jump button. Legend of Zelda has a jump button.
Which is that's so common sense because I remember, hell, I've got the original Nintendo Power issue of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. You know, they were making the jump to 3D or whatever. They had to explain at length the concept of context-sensitive jumping. Because I remember as a kid playing that for the first time being like, what is this sorcery? What is the... You just push forward and you jump off the cliff onto the next one? How does this work? Where am I? Did I fall down? Yeah. So it's such a common sense addition, finally having a jump button.
Well, they said... The reason that they had it in there is because the way that they design, there was like an interview, and they said with the way that they designed the dungeons and all the landscapes, it's very meant to be this way. So they said that it was a natural way to go about it, just automatically jump, and then they kept it there because people were just kind of used to it, and then their design team was used to designing it that way, so it stayed that way. Now you have this big sprawling open world that the way that you can go and traverse terrain is beyond limitless. So you can't just automatically have that shit anymore. And that's been good. Like, I've heard people complain, well, it sucks really bad because your weapons go into grade and then you have to go and get new ones. That to me wasn't a big issue because one, you can increase your inventory spaces to carry lots of shit. And it made it exciting when I found new stuff. So I was always on the lookout for shit. And you can beat the fuck out of an enemy, pick up their weapon, and then clobber them to death with it. And I've done that quite a few times. See a bunch of macablins that are around a campfire and shit, sneak up, and I kill the first one. Another one sees me. So the weapon that it dropped, I pick it up. I swing at the nearby campfire. Now it's a flaming weapon that does way more fucking damage. And I start beating the shit out of them. Now they're catching on fire. They run off into the field. The field is on fire now. And then the dude who's the lookout wakes up. And he goes and he trumpets the horn. A whole bunch more come after me. So I'm running off like a bat out of hell. Pull out a bow. It's fucking insane. But if you have another person who approaches this shit, they might take a bomb and just lob it into the center of them, blow them all up, and then hide behind some shit and try taking them out, you know, with tons of arrows. There's been so many ways you can do everything, and that's been discussed at great lengths, but it is a fucking amazing experience. Like, it's just fun. And I'll say this, hands down, this is the hardest Legend of Zelda game by far.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's okay. I will say that I think Legend of Zelda 2 is always going to be the hardest fucking game in the entire universe to me when it comes to a franchise, but I consider that to be more cruel than difficult. It's actually cruel. That's just a mean game.
That game clearly dislikes you.
Yeah, it fucking if you have a controller in your hand and you're playing Legend of Zelda 2, yeah, it hates you. But this is the most challenging Legend of Zelda that they've made to date. And it's amazing that you can start the game and go straight to the end and beat it, assuming you're good enough. It would be fucking hard because you got a whopping 3 hearts and nothing. Like fucking nothing with you, but you can do it. And you can go and pillage it and find some shit. I've seen people going and doing that. And seeing the way that everybody is playing the game is interesting to me because live streams have all been different. Let's plays have all been different. When people are recounting their stories of how they're going about the game, they're like, hey, have you found this? No, I haven't. I'm off going and doing this. Everybody's got something different to say. And it is really like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign to me. Like, you can just play it how you want, and holy fuck, man. Like, a couple podcasts ago, I said that I thought that this could potentially be one of the best, if not the best, Legend of Zelda game. And the way that it's shaping up to be, from my own personal experience, it's really coming off that way. I never thought that I'd play something that I like better than Link to the Past. I'm kind of feeling that this is better than Link to the Past, and that's weird.
That's the
so
feeling
weird.
I got. That's the feeling that I kind of got. I didn't get to spend much time with it, but all that stuff you're talking about with, the fire and things catching fire, it happenstancely, because science is a real thing, not just magic and swords and sorcery, but there's science, and it's all that. There's always been that discussion about, do we want to consider Legend of Zelda as being an RPG? And this, I won't go and say, it does not have an RPG skeleton, but the RPG stuff is creeping in from the outsides. It's making the world feel real, and I look forward to spending more time with it. But that was definitely something that it just felt real.
It's weird because I've been swapping stories back and forth between me and my friend Alex, because he's playing through the game as well. And he's a lot further ahead in it than I am. But I was coming across shit that he had never seen, and he's equipped with a bunch of stuff that I have no idea where the fuck he got it from. But it's so fucking cool seeing all the stuff that you're like. Recently, I was talking to Johnny Millennium, the Happy Console Gamer, and we talked for over an hour about The Legend of Zelda. Over an hour. We're just sitting there shooting the shit on Skype. And he was talking about it, and he loved the fuck out of it. And he's been playing for longer because he got it a little bit earlier than everybody else. And his experience has been different from my experience, and Alex's experience is different than mine. And I find this cool because in a day and age of the internet, everybody knows what's going to happen in a game. You can hear about it, you can read about it. Whereas with this, they just gave you this massive fucking world, and everybody's getting something different out of it. I fucking love that, and they've knocked it out of the park. And it's weird because if you go and you listen or read up on some of the interviews with the developers behind the game, they brought in an entirely different crew of people to work on this Legend of Zelda game who were actually working on something separately. They brought them in, and they were like, well, why don't we do this? Why does it have to be this way? And it was like, wow. I don't know. Yeah, let's just do this. And they kept making it more open-ended. And this seems like the absolute evolution is The Legend of Zelda on NES, Ocarina of Time on Nintendo 64, Breath of the Wild. That's where I see the evolution of it, is that they wanted to keep making it bigger and better. Like, the closest to evolution that they got outside of Ocarina of Time is with Wind Waker. But Wind Waker, as much as it wanted to be an open world, it was tiny open worlds that were all connected. So you were just traveling in between them. This is like, go wherever the fuck you want. And that's badass. And the world is just fucking huge. I mean, I enjoy my Elder Scrolls games. I enjoy my Fallout games. I enjoy shit like Grand Theft Auto. Red Dead Redemption. This absolutely, it just eclipses them. And it's fucking cool. I'm sorry I'm talking so much about it, but it's such a good game. Like,
well, no, someone had to say something, didn't they?
And apparently on the Switch control on the Pro controller, on the right analog stick, if you look, there's like a little message, and it's like, thank you gamers, or some shit. You have to tilt the analog stick at a certain level, but yeah, underneath it says that. And I thought that was kind of cool. Just a little Easter egg built into the hardware, which it kind of reminds me of, Sega did the same thing. It was something like Potato Chip, I think.
It's like the Bible verses under the In-N-Out Burger cups, only not fucking annoying.
No. By the way, In-N-Out Burger, I did not see the big deal.
Oh, you're a whore. It's good. It's good. There's better around. We have better burger places even here in Arizona, but it's good. The fuck?
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad because I ate it. I mean, if I didn't like it, I'd take one bite, I'd spit everything into my hand and put it onto the thing, and I bring it back, be like, hi, I ordered food. You gave me whatever the fuck this is. I'll just take my money back, or you know.
This is Alpha's I did not care for the Godfather moment. This is absolutely what that is.
Dude, and like everybody was playing up how great it was. I mean, non-fucking stop. So when I had it, I was like, no, that was okay. And they're like, no.
Wait. Where did you have it?
Texas.
Oh, well, that's not fucking fuck that shit. Get the fuck out of here, Texas.
Hold on. Before you sit there and fucking like yell at me, they specifically got people from the West Coast, I'm not kidding you, and moved them.
I know, that's what they do. All of the In-N-Out burgers
was the authentic experience. They had the same fucking ingredients, the same fucking menu. So none of it was going to be confusing. And guess what? They have to try a lot fucking harder because Texas is where I've had my favorite burgers at. And when I had it, I was like, well, that's all right. And I'll just say this. If you go to Texas and you're like, man, In-N-Out Burger is so much better than Whataburger, you'll probably get shot a lot with like a lot of gun. They'll shoot you and then pistol whip your dead fucking corpse.
Okay, wait, before you, everyone should know this. Number one, in Texas, there's lots of guns. And number two, pistol whipping is a collegiate activity. And number three, they know fucking beef in Texas. So that's why it's such a matter of contention.
It's, and that I completely understand. But when I had it, I think I got spoiled after a while. So when I had it, I was like, no, that's pretty all right. Like I had a Five Guys burger. I was like, well, that's better than what I get at like Wendy's and McDonald's and Burger King and shit. And that's what I consider In-N-Out Burger is more high-end, like a fast food burger. It still tastes good, but yeah. And how the fuck did we go from Nintendo Switch to fuck it? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're off topic, guys. We're off topic.
Oh yeah.
How were the hamburgers in Breath of the Wild?
I mean, everybody. I can say this: Breath of the Wild could convince non-Legend of Zelda fans to fucking play it. As a matter of fact, if you've never played a Legend of Zelda game, if you haven't, because you were like, I don't really give a fuck about the series, but you like open world games, you like adventure games, you like role-playing game, play this. Just try it. You could be like, this motherfucker's full of shit, and you know he's taking fucking Nintendo dick right now, and that's the only reason he's saying this. Try it out. I personally, I'm just like, holy fuck, amazing. But these are two games to get. There's also I keep forgetting the fucking name of it. There's a game that's just like F-Zero on the Switch.
That's a Fast Racing RMX.
That. God damn, do I want that, since we're not getting F-Zero. We know we're not getting F-Zero. And if we do, it'll be like fucking tilt controls, some center doing stupid shit like this, and I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna go on a fucking rampage and fucking shoot everybody. But this at least it's like Wipeout had a baby with F-Zero in glorious high definition. Shit's fast and fluid. I'm like, it's so good. Pretty sure that's like used on tons of different porn DVD cases, but still, it just good stuff.
Well, not only that, we're just a few days removed from the Nintendo Switch, the Nindies showcase they did last week. And that's when they showed off Master Blaster Zero, which friends of mine who they're PS4 guys because they're fucking men that drink Bud Light and watch Monday Night Football, so PS4. I imagine that's who's buying the PS4, because they're certainly not buying it to buy games. But my friends, they just have them. They just have them. And
I don't like Bud Light or Monday Night Football, and I have a lot of PS4 games. Fuck you.
Okay, but I'm talking about how there's like 30 million PS4s, and there's like 9 games sold for the whole thing.
The PlayStation 4 took the 360 dude bro demographic, swallowed them, and now they're like, we are all encompassing, and like. It is what it is. Anyway,
absolutely. And they came to say, dude, they got that new Master Blaster, and I knew that's what they were doing. They were swinging for nostalgia, obviously, and it worked. I mean, people I know that don't give a shit about video games, but they got a new Master Blaster. You know, so that worked out. And then
I'm a big ass fan of Master Blaster, except for 2. Master Blaster 2 is shit.
You don't discuss Master Blaster 2 ever.
It is bad. It is bad. So you get Master Blaster Returns, shockingly good. Was fucking blown away at how good that was. I was expecting it to be like a fucking turd. I'm like, oh, 3D Master Blaster during the 32-bit era where they couldn't get fucking Contra right. Oh, this is gonna be fucking great. Played it, blown away. I was like, that's awesome. This harkens back to the original. Where, you know, you're inside your vehicle, then you jump out and you start shooting shit. Except for now, the sections where you're out shooting stuff in that little top-down type perspective, like the graphics for that look way nicer. So it's like 8-bit and 16-bit. It's really weird. It's a nice little merging of things, but God, it looks fun. And I am Setsuna. I want to get that.
That looks promising. I don't know how much how much interest that'll hold for me. One that looks really good is I think it's also coming to 3DS. I'm not sure. I could be totally mistaken. Actually, is Wargroove, which is a game that harkens back to the design of Advance Wars, but has a little bit of more swords and sorcery, Fire Emblem aspects to it. But definitely a good-looking game that I'm very excited to see. It's interesting as all the comments say, well, we want a new Advance Wars. Like, why don't you play this fucking game, you asshole?
Yeah. Now, Mr. Fister, since you are the switchless individual of the group, at least for the time being, with currently what is announced and what is currently out, is that enough to convince you to want to go and plunk down the cash to get the system?
All I ever say is, if there's a game that I want bad enough for a console and that game comes out, then it was worth the price of admission. I didn't have a PC at the time that could run the game, so when I got the Xbox 360, I wanted Oblivion, full stop. And so when Oblivion came out, I was like, good, fucking money justified. Right at that point, and then a bunch of other shit came out that I really liked. For the Switch, I would say Breath of the Wild is absolutely worth it. But I am a huge Donkey Kong fan, and they're gonna need to release some Donkey Kong on this fucking console.
Well, considering how well Returns and Tropical Freeze did for them, I can imagine they have one being worked on right now. And I mean, Tropical Freeze was fucking just.
Yeah,
and a merciless motherfucker, that game. Jesus!
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Dude, there was... So, it's... My friend's got Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze at his house, which is where I first played it. And he had only gotten so far in the game. So, I picked up, because I was like, hey, I want to go and try this out. And everybody had already passed out from partying, so I'm always the last one up. And I'm playing Tropical Freeze, and I've got Whiskey to the left of me and Tropical Freeze, and I'm playing it. And I was just like, I said out loud so many times, so I was like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck, Nintendo? And I am a goddamn platformer god. I can just absolutely obliterate them. This game was just like, oh, think you're hot shit. Well, I'm about to fucking put you in the goddamn dirt.
No shit. And it was crazy because if you play all the previous Donkey Kong Country games, one of the big gripes, I remember this, Shigeru Miyamoto gave interviews in the 90s saying the one thing he doesn't like about Donkey Kong Country is they're too easy. Like all three of them. So apparently Shigeru came into frame and he's like, no. Here comes the Shigeru cock. Fucking flop.
Well,
and he was just like, all right, dude, we're just going to do this. Let's just fucking do this. And I think that's, honestly, I think that's what Donkey Kong Country Returns, which I haven't played, but I'm sure it's probably pretty similar. Tropical Freeze are all about.
Like Returns is just Tropical Freeze. That's all.
Yeah.
Just non HD the way that it should be. But it is a fucking excellent game. And my one friend Evan, which by the way, miss you wherever you're at right now, Valhalla. he had gotten me to go and try out the game. And I remember playing for the first time, and he was like, dude, I cannot fucking beat the stage. I was like, oh, let me try. I'll be able to do it. And I smugly walk up and I play it, and then I die like 5 times in a row, and I'm wasting his lives away. And I'm like, and take this before I throw it. But it was, and then eventually went back and started playing it. And it's weird because Nintendo's platformers, all of them are challenging as fuck, except for the Super Mario ones. I think Super Mario was quite easy, all of them, with the exception of if you played Super Mario Galaxy 2 and you were trying to get 100%, all that extra shit they had in it, that's when they were just like, oh, we're going to have our fucking way with you. And you basically became the fucking prison bitch to Galaxy 2 because it wasn't fucking having any of it. But the rest of them, like, people look at Kirby. Oh, Kirby's such a cute little game. It's so unassuming. And the first couple stages are, and then it just tosses your bitch ass off a cliff. And then it has its fucking way with you. People are always talking about, oh, yeah, I can beat this game. I can beat that game. Nintendo games are all for kids. Yeah, except for son and nephews always come to me, and they're just like, please beat this game. Please beat this game. Please beat this stage. You want to know why? Because they can't fucking touch that, like at all.
There's even some stuff. I mean, call me a pussy, but there's even some stuff in the first Super Mario Brothers and in Super Mario 3. I remember being kind of challenging. I mean, why do you think everybody uses the fucking warp zones? You know, there's some challenging aspects to those goddamn games. I mean, I'm not saying they're impossible. It's not fucking Super Meat Boy or anything, but it could definitely be challenging at times.
There's one thing that I still remember to this day that, I mean, it just kept me at bay for such a long time. And that was Super Mario Brothers 3 was at World 8, the final one that you're in hell.
Yes.
You're in hell. Every single fucking stage in there is brutal. Fucking brutal. I think the first one is probably like the most doable one, but whoever the fuck designed them, they just stopped giving a shit. They're just like, no, we don't want them to finish this at all. So
yeah, no wonder Movie Bob is mad at the world.
There's no Nintendo Power magazines that you could read that were going to get you through that. It was all reflexes and memorization, old school NES shit. Like if you play Ninja Gaiden, well, no, it doesn't matter in Ninja Gaiden. You just die in that. Helped in Mega Man though. Helped a lot in Mega Man. Ninja Gaiden. That's just a death sentence. Yeah. But the Nintendo Switch, I want to see a lot of franchises from Nintendo's catalog come out for it because I truly believe that this will do better than the Wii U.
It already is. You can feel that, can't you? I mean, you can already see it's doing better than the Wii U. There's more hype. There's just more energy around it.
They fucking told people about it.
Yeah. I mean, the Wii U had so much. The one thing they fixed, the Wii U name was an albatross around its neck. Constantly. You were never sure, oh, is it just an expansion for the Wii U? Is it just a controller? What the fuck is this? At least this is a distinct brand, so the people who didn't buy the Wii U because they thought it was some kind of expansion pack or something, or a new model of the original Nintendo Wii, at least those people are going to go out and buy it, and it appears that they already are, because they're sold out fucking everywhere.
Yeah, not only is it selling out everywhere, but, I mean, people are genuinely enthused about it. Say what you will about some of the faults of the system, which obviously we went and discussed them at length. The system, it boils down to the games.
Absolutely.
Are you having fun with the games? And I only have 2 games for it so far, which I'm lucky if I can afford 1 game for a system after it comes out, but I got 2 and I've had a blast like the entire time. Granted, in between it, I've also been playing other shit because I'm still finishing up Yakuza 0. I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's me. Nobody be fucking shocked. And there's just like tons of other things that I'm out there trying to play. Plus, this made its way onto my lap. So, yep. Go on, Razor Fist.
Hey, look, he's holding a copy of every modern game ever. Hey, look, folks.
To be fair, it is made by the Killzone team, so
So
That's
that's
just plain what they do.
yeah.
I mean, I wanted to play it because when I was looking, I was like, this reminds me of like Far Cry Primal and Beast Wars, having a weird baby with like just a sprinkle of Shadow Colossus because I can just climb on shit. Anytime you're climbing around on big shit, it's always Shadow Colossus.
I see slight with the art style a little bit. I see shades of Vanquish a little bit too.
You know,
Just a bit.
with how mechanical everything is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
the robots.
like looking at it, a lot of the only thing that I was hearing from most people's hands-on experience with that is, holy fuck, is that game pretty? And that's all they kept talking about was visually how pretty it was. Everybody said the storyline was extremely forgettable and bland. I expected no less because if you played a Killzone game, you didn't remember the story.
You're not fascinated by the travails of Amorphous Box Factory number 1363? No?
They were like, hey, what if we had Nazis, but they weren't Nazis? I'm like,
Then they'd be the Naz.
I guess I would not see that coming. Duh. That was one good step over the line.
I personally, I like Killzone 2. I hated 1. 1 is horrible. It is such a shit game. If anybody out there is like, no, Killzone 1 is really good. Like, okay, so let me get this straight. The things that are like keeping you from moving around the stage are like waist high, and you can't jump over them. So you're having to walk around an extremely linear line to go and get to another point. And they kept on marketing it as a Halo killer. Don't ever market your game as the blank killer, because you will always live in the shadow of the game that you're trying to best. And that's what it did. Killzone 2 came out and it stood on its own, was a competent game. Killzone 3 looked nicer, was meh.
Well, all they did, what was the new feature in that game? Color?
Yeah, you know what? No fucking joke. Yes. And like, not even kidding. They were like, hey, guess what? We found out about this thing called the color wheel.
Yeah, apparently the lead designer bought a crayon box between Killzone 2 and 3. He's like, oh, what about this Sienna shit? Jesus Christ.
That motherfucker actually opened Photoshop and was just like, what the fuck is that? And like, oh, well, sir, that's color. And he's like, no. But what is it? Like, I see the normal colors, but what is that other shit? Because that looks kind of gay. And like, well, no. I'm like, well, no, that's colors. That's for kids, right? Because colorful games, that's for just like, look, who needs that?
Yeah. You know that faggoty color shit that belongs on that Nintendo Switch thing.
Yeah, you don't need that stuff.
Come on, brown and gray lives matter.
Indeed, indeed. But bring it around.
I'll at least give Horizon credit. Color, like they're just like full palette, greens and blues and browns and grays and other reds whenever they can, I guess. But it's a visually nice game. I'm excited to try it out whenever the fuck I get a chance, because that backlog keeps on building. Backloggery. But it's, I don't know, man. I would highly suggest people to go and get a Nintendo Switch when you can afford it. Because do not pay the reseller price for it. It's dumb. Don't do it. Because that's what makes other people start doing is they see that it's selling. Let them get stuck with their purchase. Or have to return it to the store so an actual fan goes and buys it.
Like a friend of yours did with the Wii U, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
See, just like that. And I have high hopes for the Nintendo Switch. I think it'll do a thing or two, and that'll be nice. And you can tell that they really believe in it, because even John Cena did a fucking job to this thing, and that never happens. That's it. That's the 8-Bit Podcast for today, and well, until next week. So we thank you for joining us. Also, don't forget to check us out. Flip us a sub right here on YouTube. You can find all our information down below. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all that other shit. For the Wave, go to alphaomegasin.com. And also, don't forget to drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. I have been your host, Yell Chaos. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Alpha Omega Sin doing the wave.
Yeah, I'm doing away from the Steel City. I don't know. I have no closing remarks. Razor Fist needs glow sticks, so I'll try to procure some for him.
Okay, then, and also the man from Phoenix, Arizona, doing all that fancy shadow puppetry for all of y'all. Razor Fist.
And the takeaway from today's episode is the Switch might be good, and Alpha's game library is more backed up than a retiree with an opioid habit and an all-steak diet. God fucking speed, folks!
Thank you very much. You guys are great, and we have been the Hate Bit Podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
I'm a Switch sandwich.
You better end it now before it gets more goddamn ridiculous.
I mean, I can go and get the boxes and be like, "What are you? A Switch sandwich?"
No, he's a Dilophosaurus.
Oh wait, hold on. I can be in a